Predators in Cyberspace, Criminology, and Countermeasures for Watering Hole Attacks. Welcome to this presentation, and I thank you for joining me. My name is Dr. Sharon L. Burton, and I will be speaking with you here for the next 30 minutes. In terms of this presentation, in an era where cyber threats are increasingly sophisticated, watering hole attacks pose a significant risk to organizations and individuals. These attacks have exploited and continue to exploit trusted websites to targeted groups of users, compromising security by embedding malicious code. So the term watering hole is inspired by animal predators that hide near actual water holes, waiting to attack unsuspecting predators when they are most vulnerable. This presentation aims to shed light on the mechanics, impact, and preventive strategies for watering holes attack, emphasizing the significance of cybersecurity awareness and protective measures in mitigating such threats. Also, this presentation should equip the individuals such as cybersecurity professionals, educators, practitioners, and stakeholders, should help them understand more about watering hole attacks and the tools to enhance cybersecurity posture. Here we have our overall agenda here that we're going to walk through. Again, this presentation aims to comprehensively explore watering hole attacks, a sophisticated and growing cyber threat. These attacks are across industries, whether it is the financial industry, aerospace industry, it is hitting across industries. It doesn't matter what it is. So we're going to here explain the concepts and mechanics of water hole attacks. We'll give you some real live cases of examples of watering hole attacks. We're going to talk about detection and preventive strategies and highlight the significance of cybersecurity frameworks in protecting against these watering hole attacks. The framework that's going to guide what we're talking about today is the NIST cybersecurity framework wrapped around risk management, detection, and response, the ISO IEC 27001 framework wrapped around business continuity, compliance, and systematic security management, and CIS controls, specific actionable steps for immediate implementation of strong defenses. So watering hole attacks, just what is it? Shay all knows watering hole attacks as a type of cyber attack where cyber criminals infect websites that are regularly visited by a specified target audience. These bad actors compromise these websites by planning malicious code with the aim to infect the computers of the visitors of these intended sites. So the term watering hole, again, was derived from the concept of animals going to drink and being attacked. But let's look at this. So when these bad actors plant the codes and they sit and wait for users to go to the different websites, what they are doing is these bad actors identify a recognized vulnerability on a website, compromise the site by adding the malware, and then wait for the attack. Here are some examples of the different types of attacks. What you see here are political attacks, and not just in the United States, But across the world, we see here the Middle East, there was a watering hole attack where the London-based newspaper website was compromised between January and August of 21 in a politically motivated attack targeting readers with an interest in Middle Eastern affairs. Then we see the Light Spy attack where iPhones were remotely compromised by spyware, and the spyware was named Light Spy. This attack is connected to Chinese bad actors. Users in 92 countries were attacked. Another political one is through the Daily NK, headquartered in Seoul. Daily NK is a media outlet that reports on Northern Korean issues, and it draws from various inside sources. Operated by North Korean dissidents and defectors, the site became the target of a cyber attack March through June of 21. The purpose was to collect information on individuals who were accessing news related to North Korea. And as I stated, it goes across the industries. Here we are in the cyberspace industry. The International Civil Aviation Organization, 2016, hacktivists compromised the ICAO server by exploiting vulnerabilities in the organization's website. This attack posed a momentous threat to the aviation industry, as ICAO is a fundamental body that sets standards for civil aviation worldwide. So this attack was linked to the APT Lucky Mouse group. Other names for it was Embassy, Panda, APT 27, and the Bronze Union. And last but not least, we see here the U.S. Department of Labor was attacked, and we see that Not a Prey ransomware was also a watering hole attack, and that Not a Prey was very popular. It was a very popular watering hole attack. So these are just examples across industries where you see the different web pages are being attacked for the actors to collect the type of data they're looking for in response to the negative activity that they plan to use. Now, there are defenses, there are strategies and steps when it comes to defending in this area. What are the requirements to get this done? There is the detection phase, where there is the monitoring of network trafficking for any unusual patterns or anomalies. The use of intrusion detective systems is very important, no matter whether you're a small company or a large company. Then containment. We want to isolate the infected system to prevent the spread of the malware. If needed, disconnect from the network and disable access to the infected website. Then there is the analysis, conducting full analysis of what happened, what might be the intended reason for the attack on the system, examine the payload, infection vectors, and any command controls servers. Use malware analysis tools and sandboxing to understand the behavior of the particular malicious code. Because if they come at you once, they may come back again. Next is eradication. The malware has got to be removed and determine how we block this from happening again. Then there is the recovery, restoring the affected systems, and then there is the post-incident review to review what happened, why it happened, what do we need to do in the future to keep this from happening again. So what are the motivations behind watering hole attacks? I mentioned earlier, sometimes there is political gain. Sometimes there is financial gain. Sometimes it is espionage. I mentioned political objectives as well as ideological objectives. Then sometimes it is psychological or social factors that drive these bad actors into performing watering hole attacks. So what are the impacts around watering hole attacks? Well, there's direct impact where personal data theft, losses, and with reputational damage. And then there is the broader societal impact, whereas it's undermining the public trust in online platforms and increasing overall cyber security threat landscape. But no matter whether it is a direct impact or a broader societal impact, it marks a critical point to the organization. It shuts down business, causes millions of dollars, if not billions, in losses. So law enforcement has a role connected with the stakeholders, the cybersecurity stakeholders, to ensure, one, there's a time and action plan to attempt to prevent this, and if it does happen, how to stop it from happening in the future. Another stakeholder is the Learning and Development Department, which will put courses out consistently to ensure that there's education for the staff around this. So there has to be full engagement in conversation regarding laws and regulations. There has to be the defining the manner that law enforcement agencies play in terms of a role in mitigating watering hole attacks as they work with our cyber and criminology specialists inside of our company. And also what we're understanding, similar to other attacks, the attorneys generals of the different states have to become involved, writing, working with the legislation on policies and procedures to help prevent these attacks. Because if not, cities can be shut down, departments can be shut down, federal agencies can be attacked. So it's important that all of law enforcement is working together around the different legal frameworks, and if needed, developing other frameworks to help guard against these hackers, because they're not just hackers in the United States. So they're not just hackers in China. They're not just hackers in Korea, but they're going across country. So we have to work together to ensure there is policies and laws in place to help guard against this. And when it does happen, that something can be done about it. And here are the key participants: policymakers, academics, criminologists, and our broad community, which again would include our senators and representatives and our different city, county, and state officials that will help put together policies and procedures. This term may sound funny, or it may like, oh, is this really happening? It is consistently happening all across the world, affecting numerous countries. And it has to be brought to the light. It has to be put in front of our cybersecurity teams, those that are seasoned and those that are growing. Okay. So with that said, what questions might we have? Any questions?
There is a question from Dr. Jeff. How can we guard our communications, water, and other infrastructure in the US, especially as many of these are owned by the private sector?
Okay. So that's where community comes in, where we must come together as teams from private sectors to the federal sectors to the local, state, city, county sectors to understand what are the issues at hand and work as a team to share information. What tools are out there? What are the different types of intrusion detection systems that are available that can be purchased, whether you are a small organization or you are a very large organization? But there must be the community effort. And what I recommend, if you are in a place where this is not being talked about, that is the opportunity to organize a meeting, invite folks from across the different business sectors to talk about what is happening with these watering hole attacks, and how to work to mitigate those attacks. What are the tools being in place? Who are the people that need to be in place? But it first starts with the conversation, and then it moves forth to put a time and action plan in place.
Okay, thank you. And here's another question from MK. Is there a central agency monitoring these types of incidents specifically?
Okay, so I'm going to say these, the central agency is each organization. Each organization should have its cybersecurity team prepared to understand what are these different watering hole issues, and to be working with the broader community on how to stop these different attacks from the individual organizations. Also, within cities, there has to be meetings and teamwork to get together to understand what is happening in the city. A perfect example, if this does not happen, then what we see is examples like what happened in Atlanta when they attacked websites and systems. Numerous cities have had their watering systems attacked. It comes back to building a strong cyber team and ensuring that that team is communicating across the board, across stakeholders, to ensure they have the right information, and then to know what tools and technologies to implement and how these systems need to be watched.
Thank you.
Next question.
Thank you. How can a criminologist not having technical knowledge contribute to the cybersecurity area?
Okay. So the criminologist comes with the investigative background. The cybersecurity person comes with the cyber background. As a team, you work together on what is the issue. The criminologist comes around with data on the investigation as it wraps around the sociology and the psychology of the concern. So there is definitely a cross mixing of the two, and together both can work through what does it take to get employees of an organization educated so that they understand, for example, what is a watering hole attack, and on the investigative learning side, what you look for when one might be coming. If you're working on a system and you're noticing it's slowing down, who do you contact? What do you do? If you're noticing your mouse moving by itself, who do you contact? What do you do? So between the criminologist and the cybersecurity professional, there is a joint learning and a joint connection of a team on building a strong program and organization.
Thank you. And next question. How can governments collaborate to fight against a waterhole attack since it is most transnational?
Okay. So governments now are across are putting together laws and policies that's wrapping around this. In terms of watering holes, there's certainly an opportunity for more policy and procedure across the world, because the bad actors are not just staying within the country that they are living, but just as this conference at a high level government arena, there is opportunity and things are happening where high government officials are meeting to discuss these types of concerns and what each country needs to do to help prevent it.
Thank you. Next question. If you were to quantify cyber attacks cost in the US, what would be an approximate cost to the nation?
Well, from the data that I have been reading, it is definitely in the billions of dollars. There are live cases of where cities have been shut down for well over 30 days and watering systems have been shut down. So this cost is definitely into the billions of dollars. And because of the large amount, it definitely has the attention here of the federal government, and abroad it has the attention of governments in other places, such as Brazil and China and so forth.
Thank you. If you have any question, you're welcome to type them in the chat box and Q&A, so we can get them answered now. Okay, since I don't see any further Q&A, would like to have a closing remark for your presentation, Ms. Sharon?
Yes, and I want to thank everyone for coming out to this presentation. Watering hole attacks is certainly not new, but what we see is they are being escalated across the world. As you saw, I mentioned earlier, there was an attack that hit over 92 different countries. So this is definitely something that you want to put on your radar and ensure that your cybersecurity teams are well informed, as well as their being learning and development prepared for the different employees, and that learning being put on a cyclical type movement so that everyone stays educated. And again, thank you very much. And if you would like a copy of the slides, please let me know.
Thank you. Our next session will begin at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, so we will see you later. Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Have a great day.